As consumers, we buy millions of products every year, and just like us, these products have a life cycle. Older, long-established products eventually become less popular, while in contrast, the demand for new, more modern goods usually increase quite rapidly after they are launched. Because most companies understand the different product life cycle stages, that the products they sell all have a limited lifespan, the majority of them will invest heavily in new product development in order to make sure that their business continues to grow. So, product life cycle looks at the sales of a product over time. The product life cycle has 4 very clearly defined stages, each with its own characteristics that mean different things for business that are trying to manage the life cycle of their particular products. So the 4 stages are introduction, growth, maturity and decline. So first of all, looking at the research and development stage, this looks at how the product or service is designed and physically created. At the development stage of the product life cycle, you should ensure your idea will meet the following: potential customer expectation, design resource and manufacturing requirements, and the strategy that is outlined first of all in your business plan. At this stage, you should plan for all potential outcomes and risks in advance so you can analyse what is involved in the process. You should not be concerned about sales or introducing the product at this point, so there's high costs but no sales involved. Moving on to the introduction stage of a product life cycle is when the product or service is launched and marketed to a small group of people, your customers, so you can build awareness of your product or service in certain markets and develop a specific market. Once your product or service is introduced to the market, you should focus on an intense marketing effort to establish a clearly identity and promote your product. You should concentrate on building a base for the product at the introduction stage rather than making an immediate profit. At the introduction stage, you should focus on the following marketing factors, which is pricing, distribution and promotion. So high expenditure on promotion and product development and low sales again. The growth and maturity stage looks at how the product or service is marketed to a wider audience and further iterations and produced. At this point in your product life cycle, you should be putting your efforts into increasing your product's market share and creating a brand preference for your customers. This should be a period of rapid growth in both sales and profits for your product or service. Your profits should rise through and an increase in an output and most competitive pricing. Other things that you might take into consideration is maintaining product quality and including additional features or support services for the product, or increasing distribution channels to cope with additional demand, aiming promotion at a wider audience, maintaining pricing to increase demand for the product, and lastly, if your profits are low, you can still consider reducing the price of the product or service to increase the volume of the sales. So, growth, sales increases and products should be break-even. Maturity stage, sales establish, less expenditure and promotion needed, revenue and profits should be high. Last, looking at the decline stage is when the product or service comes into its natural end or is redeveloped. Due to factors such as technology advances, fashion, innovation or changing consumer tastes, the sales of most products will decline at some stage. You will know when your product reaches the decline stage of its life cycle because you will notice a significant downturn in the revenue it generates. So at this stage, you should consider the following options. Maintaining the product in the hope that your other competitors will withdraw their versions before you, which you may create an increase in demand again. Reducing the costs and finding another use for the product. Entering into another niche area could increase profits. Or reducing market support, harvesting the product, coasting along until profits dry up and then discounting the product. Discounting the product when your profits disappear or when you unveil a success or a product. Some of these methods can later form into an extension strategy that prolongs the life of your current product or service. This may give you enough time to create a new version of an entirely new product. However, this strategy will only temporarily delay a product or a service's decline. By understanding the product life cycle of all of your products and services, you can ensure that at least one of your ventures is at growth and maturity stage, while other is a decline. By doing this, you can guarantee a regular source of profit for all your products. So let's now have a look at the product life cycle of a Barbie doll.
The product life cycle of a Barbie doll. The Barbie doll is a popular girls' doll created in 1959. Since its creation, the Mattel Toy Company, which owns it, has sold over 1 billion Barbie dolls, making it the most popular doll in the world. In fact, according to its website, every 3 seconds, a Barbie is sold somewhere in the world. The average girl aged 3 to 6 owns a total average of 12 Barbie dolls. Barbie merchandise and doll sales total over $1.5 billion annually in the US alone, making it the most profitable toy in history. Since its creation, over 2,300 types of Barbie dolls have been made. By creating different types of Barbie dolls, Mattel ensures that the Barbie stays current and relevant with the changing times. 1968, during the Civil Rights Movement, Barbie introduced an African American doll. The Senator Barbie doll was introduced when Hillary Clinton was elected into the Senate. Other Barbie types include Hispanic, Asian, stewardess, fashion model, nurse, and astronaut Barbies. However, there have been many controversies surrounding the design of the Barbie doll. Mainly, the controversy surrounds the issue of the body proportion and unrealistic beauty of the doll. Because of these controversies, Barbie's designs have changed a bit, with the waist of the doll becoming wider than its original model. So how do you make a Barbie? Creating a Barbie is actually a long and detailed process with many steps. A team of over 100 designers, tailors, beauticians, and sculptors work together to conceptualize the design of a new Barbie doll before it's manufactured out. The process for creating a model for this new doll involves lots of prototypes of carefully handmade dolls. Once a prototype is perfected and approved, it is then ready to be manufactured in large quantities. The Barbie doll is a quintessential American doll. Barbie dolls are designed in America. Most of the profits from Barbie sales go to America, and the marketing and sales strategies are devised in America. But the manufacturing and actual creation of the doll happens far from America. The whole process of creating the dolls is really a global effort. Barbie dolls have never been manufactured in the United States. Barbies were first produced in Japan right after World War II when wages were low. But when labor costs increased, Mattel found other places in Asia with cheaper labor prices to create the dolls. Most Barbie dolls today are manufactured in China and Indonesia. The story really starts in the country of Saudi Arabia, a global supplier of oil. Oil is extracted from their land and then refined into ethylene. The Taiwanese Petroleum Corporation buys the ethylene from Saudi Arabia and sells it to Taiwan's Formosa Plastic Corporation, who is the world's largest PVC producer. Formosa Plastic then turns the ethylene into PVC pellets. These PVC pellets are then shipped to various Asian manufacturing locations, including Indonesia and China, the major manufacturing locations. In these Asian factories, the PVC pellets are injected into molds shaped as a Barbie's body. Once the doll's body is molded, the Barbie gets hair made from nylon imported from Japan. Then, the doll gets dressed with cotton dresses made from cotton grown in China. Once the dolls are finished, they are then shipped off to America, where they're sold in stores. Hong Kong plays a huge part in the manufacturing process as a whole. Almost all of the manufacturing supplies are shipped to Hong Kong, one of the world's largest ports, and then sent out to different parts of Asia. The parts that need to be delivered to other parts of China are trucked out to the different locations. An estimated 23,000 trucks make the daily trip from Hong Kong's port and toy factories in China. Once all of the parts are available, the assembly of the Barbie doll can begin. The actual process of making the dolls is highly uniform using machines and molds. The dolls' heads and limbs are made by rotating molds. The metal mold cavities are then cooled with water and air. Lastly, the face is painted and hair is added by specialized machines. The only part that is made in the United States is a cardboard packaging which the dolls are sold in. In the past, the materials for packaging came from an Asian company called Asia Pulp and Paper. Recently, going along with the green movement, Mattel has switched to eco-friendly packaging suppliers and materials. The switch into more eco-friendly practices was brought on by pressures from environmental groups such as Greenpeace. Once this whole manufacturing and packaging process is done, the Barbie is ready to be sent out to stores for people to buy. But Mattel moderates the amount of certain types of dolls they release. They put labels and distinctions on certain Barbies to distinguish the collector's dolls from regular toys. The pink label is a play line, or the least expensive dolls. Silver label dolls are collectible with only 50,000 produced. Gold label denotes special edition with only 25,000 produced. Platinum label is even more valuable with only 1,000 produced worldwide. And lastly, the black label is a designer doll line specially designated for adult collectors. The average price of an ordinary pink labeled Barbie doll is $9.99. Of that $9.99, 35 cents goes to the wages of employees assembling them in the factory. 65 cents covers the plastics, cloth, and rest of the materials for making the doll. $1 of that $9.99 goes to Mattel, the company that owns Barbie. The rest of the profit goes to the cost of machinery, shipping, advertising, and merchandising. After that, stores that sell it, like Toys R Us, get the rest of the profit. So what happens to a Barbie doll after its use? Two main things happen to these dolls. Either the owner keeps it as a collector's item, or it's discarded in the trash, which, if you remember, would be close to 1 billion dolls. These dolls are also made out of PVC plastic, the single worst plastic according to several health organizations. I don't have a definite number of years it takes to degrade, but it's certainly a long time. Recycling PVC is also extremely difficult because of all the additives in it. In some cases, the additives leach out hazardous waste in landfills. The best way to recycle a Barbie doll is to reuse it or to repurpose it. There have been some efforts to reuse or repurpose Barbie dolls, mostly turning parts of the dolls into decorative objects. Considering how many Barbie dolls are sold, this is not a widespread or common practice, and frankly, the stuff that results is a little creepy to me. So how would I redesign the Barbie doll? One of the main problems of the Barbie is that it can't be easily recycled. Once a Barbie doll gets old for a girl, it's just thrown away. We also know that on average, a young girl owns 12 Barbie dolls. It's a lot of Barbie dolls. I propose that instead of just producing more dolls in every different type and hair color, we make Barbies that are detachable and can be put back together in many different ways, kind of like a make-your-own Barbie doll. The doll would have different heads, different torsos, different clothes, and would result in a unique Barbie doll each time. It also addresses the issue of the body image problems that girls have with the Barbie doll. Lastly, I would use recycled plastic instead of the toxic PVC plastic.
An extension strategy is usually used to increase the market share for a given product or service, and thus keep it in its maturity phase of the marketing product life cycle rather than going into decline. Extension strategies include rebranding. Rebranding is a creation of a new look and feel for an established product in order to differentiate the product from its competitors. At its simplest, rebranding may consist of reducing the price to interest the customers, adding new features and new versions, changing where it can be bought from, e.g. online, promoting it to a different market sector, introducing a new advertising campaign, or modifying the product, altering the package, or changing the design. There was one company who launched a new drink 7 times before it was successful, and that was Coca-Cola, and it was for 7-Up. Other examples can be Maltesers, when they introduced a new variety, white chocolate. And the other industry that we can relate this to is the banks, how services are now available via internet or telephone. Another great extension strategy example could be Cadbury's Flake. In 1920, a Cadbury Flake bar was introduced, and then 10 years down the line, Flake 99 ice cream was launched, and then 2001, Snowflake, which was a chocolate bar with white chocolate in the middle, and in 2013, it was Cadbury Flake Dipped, introduced where consumers were able to enjoy all benefits of the flake without the mess, so ideal for being on the move. And then lastly, in September 2014, it was Cadbury Flake Moments, which was a selection of miniature chocolates in a box. So, the white chocolate flake pieces as well as milk chocolate. This was an extended flake brand into the giving market, and it was to create the ideal gift.